Hey, welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. We're really excited today. I love talking to directors of Hallmark films. And today we are talking with director Linda-Lisa Hayter. And she is the director for Cranberry Christmas coming out this week. And we're really excited to see the film. We love Nikki DeLoach and it just sounds really fun. So we're really excited to see it. And thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Excited.
Yes, it's such a treat. I really do love talking to directors. It's so interesting to me to find out the whole experience of crafting these films or any film. I think it's really interesting to hear that.
These ones are so detailed,
I know.
Especially the Christmas ones. There's so much more than just the story. It's so much about the visual as well, which gets your blood pumping for the season. And there's so much about the music, and there's all these other elements about festive movies that we kind of count on. And I think this year we're going to count on it even more.
I think so too. I was going to ask you about that because it's been quite the year. And what was when we were all quarantined, what was that experience like for you? I know that we're all most of us are working in some way now, but what was that experience like for you?
Actually, I mean, I'm sort of a glass half full person. I know it is devastating for the world, for the people, for the planet, absolutely devastating. But in my small little place here, we tried to turn it into something beautiful. So we planted seeds in our garden with our 5-year-old. We watched plants bloom. We did baking like everybody else did. I did Zoom art classes for his Montessori school so the kids could still connect even though they couldn't be together physically. We had family time. We went hiking. We played at the beach. We just did family stuff, which was just finding something beautiful in amongst all the sadness going on around us, because I wanted my child to take something good from it, because as he gets older, he'll understand the reality of what was really going on. But I want to cushion it now so that he can blend his own story of the reality and what his family life was like during that time.
Well, I think that's what you have to do just to survive. I mean, we all have our bad days. We all have our cynical days. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think you have to find a way to, it's a survival mechanism. You have to find a way to get through it and not be miserable every day.
And it's a choice, right? And we're not all given it doesn't come naturally for a lot of people, I know. And I think it's worth taking the time to find those things and doing those things. I mean, remember Oprah used to talk about the gratitude journal and things like that, years ago. And I think all those things, checking in and being grateful for what you do have, and always remembering that and reminding yourself that. So it's not always reminding yourself to wear a mask and wash your hands and do all the things we have to physically do, but that emotional work as well.
Yeah.
To remind yourself of what's important, what you do have, and treasure it.
Yeah. The last few months I have I've been able to go to my local movie theater in a very safe environment. Usually there's only 2 or 3 other people there.
Wow,
and
had that experience yet.
I know, I'm very fortunate. But anyway, I was just talking to a friend and we're talking about, well, how do you decide like what risks to take and where do you, and I was like, well, I mean, I'm not going to church. I'm not like, there's a long list of things I'm not doing.
Yes.
And the thing is that like staying inside with no other human interaction, because I'm single, that's a risk. That's a health risk. And so you got to kind of balance everything. And can I do something safe in a way that will help, that will help my my sanity, my mental health, and so what am I going to do? Whether that's just what I ended up doing a couple times, but other people, everybody's having to make their own decisions kind of about what to do, whether you go to the beach, you go to whatever, depending on your environment and your comfort level and your risk factors, and all of that stuff is all kind of taken into place.
Yes, it is. Did you feel safe? Were you okay? Was it a good experience?
It was a great experience. I felt very, very, very safe. And so, yeah, it was a great experience for me. But I just think that there's all these factors that kind of come into play with this whole situation. It can be pretty stressful.
It's very stressful. Going to the grocery store is stressful. Getting to your car is stressful. It's a scary time, but I think it will pass. I mean, this stuff happens. It's happened to humanity forever. We've had pandemics, we've had it. This is something we have to do. We have to cope with it, and we have to find our way through, and it will pass.
Yeah. So you have done a lot of writing, according to your IMDb, in the past. And so was that kind of where you started and then moved into directing?
No, I grew up in film because my father was a director. And I grew up on sets as a little girl. He always put me in his commercials. There was commercial work here a lot in Vancouver, BC, in the 70s. So he put me in his commercials. And so I just knew what a set was. And then I strayed away from it because I like to paint, and I did other artistic things. And I got into film later, and I was a script supervisor. So that's the person that sits beside the director. And I did that for over 25 years. So you basically, I learned firsthand everything right there, day in, day out, being on set for a quarter of a decade. And then I finally segued on a TV show called iZombie into directing.
That's neat. Yeah, I didn't realize what a script supervisor did. So that's interesting.
It's a mysterious job. Yeah, you're in charge of being the liaison between the editor and the director. And you work with the actors to get their lines right and make sure they're doing everything the same way twice. When you watch a film and you'll suddenly cut to a close-up and somebody's hand will be holding another hand, or they'll have like what your hand's doing, touching your ear right now, or doing that with when you do a wider shot, you have to make sure the actor does that at the same line so that it will cut smoothly. So you've got to watch every single detail. Yeah.
So you're really concerned with continuity.
For that job, yes.
Yeah,
now I'm concerned with creativity. Which
That's great. That's very interesting. I like learning about. So if you're in a multi-camera show, then then you have to think about all the different cameras and the different angles and what the director wants.
Yes, and the eye lines, making sure everything's right, and just making sure when it gets into the editing room that it will cut nicely and become a smooth scene.
So iZombie was the first show that you ended up transitioning into directing?
That's right. Yeah, it was a great one. It was a lot of fun.
How did that end up happening?
I just dedication. I just kept saying, I really want to have an opportunity every year. I would ask for the opportunity to be considered. And finally one year they said, okay, you're on. And they gave me one. And then I got another one the next season. And I realized I quite liked it because it was just so creative. And I'm a really creative person. And it was just the right fit and the right time. And it's opening up for women now. As you know, the world is changing a little bit more progressive for us. And, had this come about 10 years ago, it would have been a lot harder, I think, to get into this position. It has mostly been males, as you know, as directors. So it's really changing now for women, and these opportunities are coming up. So it was the right time, the right place, and I love it.
Do you think that television has any upper leg on film as far as diversity, or is it pretty much the same?
That's a good question. I don't know, actually. I don't know about the big features. I think it's all changing. I think people are waking up to the fact that we need to be more inclusive. We just have to. It's time. Women are amazing. Let's get a crack at it, guys. Let's give us a crack at it because we're really good.
What do you think a woman's perspective adds to a project in general?
I'll tell you something happened last night, actually. I was filming a scene last night. And one of the actors, a male actor, an older white male actor, pulled me aside and he goes, people call me LL. LL, I have to tell you, I was talking to some other actors last week, and I have to say, it is so refreshing to have such a communicative director. He goes, you're so good at communication. And we were talking about that. And I wonder if that, in relationships, we often hear that women are generally, not always, but generally the better communicators. I think women have a good eye for detail. I think women are good at communication. I think women can be very patient. I think women can be very sensitive and kind. I think there's things that we have just always had as some of our qualities, maybe a little bit more, and we can also be good leaders as well. I think we can do it all.
That's great. So with Cranberry Christmas, how did you end up becoming involved in that project?
I think my agent hammered on their door, and I went down and met some of the Hallmark people, and I really wanted to break into the Hallmark family because the thing that I like about it for me personally is I don't want to do projects that have violence in them or have bad messages. I think there's just too much of that, and I think we need to tread gently on this earth, and I like how Hallmark does that. I like how it gives stories that leave you feeling, sometimes when you watch something, you can either exhale or inhale, and inhaling is tense and exhaling is relaxing. Generally, with these Hallmark movies, you end up at the end just feeling a little warmer and you're exhaling and you're a bit more relaxed. That kind of feeling. I like that. I want to
Well,
leave
that's good to hear.
that nice work, nice project.
So did you know that having this movie be about a separated couple was unusual for Hallmark?
Oh, yes, I did. And I was thrilled that I got this one. I was so thrilled. Yes. Yes, I was just like ripe for this one because it's real. I like the reality of it.
Yeah.
But it's still kind. It's real, but it's still kind, but it's relatable. There's so many people who go through this. I've been through this. Everybody goes through stuff.
Right.
And we should show it because I think it can help people either be inspired to find their way through it rather than just bailing. Right? Sometimes it's just easier to bail on a relationship. And these two, Gabe and Dawn, they can't communicate. They are so good at their business and they're outside of the marriage work, but their marriage work itself, they've let slip. And it's I think it's a really good message for people. It's like, if you let it slip, which it can happen, you can find your way back. You just have to find your communication. You have to remember your love, remember your commitment, and focus on that. You have to take the time to focus on it, and you have to remember it, and you have to check in. And it's, the story's about them losing it and finding their way back. And it's real.
Yeah. I'm really intrigued because we've never had a story like that for one of these Hallmark Christmas movies. So it's something different. And I think it's going to be really interesting. And I appreciate that Nikki especially is trying to kind of push the genre. I feel like every year she kind of tries to do something a little bit different.
She's such an important woman on this earth right now. She really is. She's a special lady. She's some kind of angel, that girl.
Yeah, she's one of our favorites. We love her, and she raved about you. That's the whole reason I was like, we need to interview her.
She's such a honey. So you know her. You know what she's like. And she was perfect for this role too. In fact, I'd love to know what you feel when you see it. I'd love to hear what you say. Do write me or something and let me know what you think, because the chemistry between those two, they're so funny. Oh, they're so good. I mean, even though there's some tough moments in the movie, which I want there to be because it's real. I don't want to gloss over the reality of what it was. So we do go there. We go there like a normal couple does. But they somehow make you just fall in love with them. And we want to see more. I want to see more about them. They're so much fun to watch.
That's great. When did you become involved in the project?
Good question. When was it? June maybe?
Okay.
June maybe? Haven't had much sleep in the last few months.
Yeah.
It was warm outside. It was summer.
Did things have to be kind of changed a lot because of the COVID?
Absolutely.
To the script
100%.
and stuff? Yes.
100%. It is a whole different world for shooting. It's good. You know what? I'll tell you something. I'll tell you a secret. I felt safer on a film set than I do walking down the street because it's quite strict. It's quite strict. Wiping down, washing hands. You have to wear a colored wristband after you've had your temperature taken. You filled a questionnaire every day. You have to have everything checked. And then you're not allowed on set unless you have this colored wristband. You have to prove that you had all these checks. It's quite secure. It's quite safe. Wiping down props every time we do a take. Having to physically distance people and with lots of extras. It's just a different way of shooting.
Yeah. I know. But as far as the script, did you have to make changes to the actual script?
No,
because you couldn't have.
I felt the script was fairly standard, whether it was COVID or not. We just had to take extra precautions with everything that we did and be very mindful as we went scene through scene.
Yeah, that must have been, especially for your first first feature film with Hallmark. That must have been overwhelming at
It was
times.
challenging,
Challenging, yeah.
but I agree with it though. I mean,
Sure.
I believe in this. I'm a full believer that this is something that's happening on the planet, and we need to respect each other and look after each other. So it's fine. It just takes a little bit more time. That's all I'll say. It just takes more time, just being more careful.
Yeah, that's great. So how do you know how the screenwriter, how they came up with this whole idea?
She hasn't told me that actually. I would love to know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
brilliant. I hope
That'd
she
be
does
interesting.
more. I hope she does more for this couple.
Yeah, that would be good. What in addition to the COVID challenges, you're also shooting a Christmas movie in summer. So what's that like?
Oh, girl, I can't tell you how difficult that was. There were days, poor Nikki and Ben. When you see it, you'll see them in puffer jackets, wool coats, scarves, gloves. When the hottest days of the summer, we had to do this big scene, and we had to put spray shaving cream into the trees to make it snow, and then sort of a cotton blanket on the ground. Shaving cream's flying everywhere. We're sweating. It's dripping off because it's melting. Nikki's, oh God, the poor girl. She must have been so hot because I was just like in t-shirts and, light trousers, and these guys, these troopers in their beautifully colored red puffy coats and this and that.
Yeah.
Don't know how they did it.
Do you just kind of, as far as the snow and everything like that, do you just handle that, the prop department just says that down?
It's special effects and a greens department, and they all plays around and they hose them down with shaving cream, and then when it's snowing in the scene, and there's scenes where it snows, so we have above the camera we'll have like a framework with this snow-like substance, and they'll shake it, and then we'll have a fan, and it'll blow the snow down through this almost like a mesh screen, and this beautiful snowflake substance will come down with a little breeze, and it looks so real. It's so good, but there's mosquitoes there, and it's hot, and we're trying not to have the mosquitoes bite, and you'll see them. You'll actually see some mosquitoes in there. Pretend they're snowflakes, but there's some mosquitoes.
I'll be looking for them now that I know that. That's so funny. So what is your favorite part of directing?
Working with the actors and the creativity. Just watching, when you watch something, whether it's on a screen or watching it live as an actor's working, and you get those goosebumps, that feeling where where something in your heart moves, or you get scared, or you feel empathy, or you feel love, or you feel their pain. When you get to those moments, watching that with an actor, that's what I love.
Yeah. I know they shoot these on really short timelines, and they had a little bit longer, I guess, for the COVID shoots, but do you every day, do you look at the dailies and then see where you're at and what you need to shoot?
I know what I always need to shoot, but I don't have time to the weekends because they're very long days.
Yeah, very long
days. Yeah.
Yeah. So on the weekends, then you look at the dailies.
That's right.
Right. No rest for the weary, right?
No, you get about 5 hours sleep and you're up and at it again.
Yeah,
it's intense.
That is intense.
It's okay. Just plow through it. It's a really fun experience when you do one, and then you can rest afterwards.
So you are working right now as we speak on Christmas and Evergreen 4. Is that correct?
That's right.
Oh my gosh, we are so excited for this. We had been hoping, because we interviewed Antonio Cayón.
Did you?
Yes, right. It was one of my favorite interviews we've ever done. Right around when the protests were at the kind of the heat of their fervor. We interviewed him, and we had an amazing discussion about diversity and inclusivity, and it's really, I really love that interview, and so I was so happy to hear that he says a leading role.
Wait
him and Rakia.
See him? Oh, he's so good in this too. Yes. Oh, I'll have to listen to that one. He is.
I'll send you the link. But yeah, he's phenomenal, and I can't wait. It's definitely past due for him to have the leading role.
It is, and you're going to fall in love with him. It's wonderful.
Because him and Rakia were my favorite parts of volume 3.
Yes.
Whatever they call it. I actually much preferred them over the lead couple in that movie. As much as I love Paul Green and Maggie Lawson, I felt that they didn't have the best chemistry, and I was kind of always waiting for,
for
yeah,
Rukia.
yeah,
She's
and
so good. Oh,
yeah,
you will love it. I
I
hope you
love her
saw it all
too,
the way
and
through. Oh, I hope to be friends with her forever. I'm so glad I met her, and she's just lovely. Oh,
that's awesome.
I've been
I
so
can't
lucky
wait.
to have Nikki and Rukia. They are just incredibly
Hmm.
beautiful human beings.
Yeah, you picked two really, really gems, really
Aren't I
wonderful
lucky?
people. Yeah,
I'm so lucky. Oh,
yeah. Well, we're really excited about Christmas in Evergreen 4. And I'm glad that because the first three, they kept adding somebody new. And now they're just working with that cast because it's almost like how big if you just keep adding people,
well,
like how many more
there's
people?
a few additions. I won't tell you who, but there's a couple of
Ooh,
additions. Yeah.
some new additions. That's cool. But and you have do you have all of the people coming back making cameos or
Pretty
just
much,
Ashley
yeah.
or?
Pretty much, yes. And
So
then let me know. I have a crossover from Cranberry into Evergreen.
Oh, you do?
Ew. Not a character, but an actor. You bet.
Oh,
Yep.
that's
Somebody
exciting.
really, really rocked Cranberry. We were able to bring on to Evergreen. I'll let you see it.
Did Zach do the script for this one as
He
well? He
did.
did the last one.
He did this one with another writer called Shari Sharp.
Oh, okay.
Two did it
Cool.
together. Yeah.
I love him. He's great.
What a nice man. Oh my.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shari's
Yeah.
lovely too.
That's cool. And it's all about surrounding, you don't have to give too many details, but it's surrounding Holly Robinson Pete's character's wedding. Is that right?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Good. I mean, what's it like creating the whole aesthetic of Evergreen?
Well,
It's such a
for me, it's
picturesque.
magical. And I love magic. I believe in magic. I always had Christmas magic. My parents gave that to me as a child, and I'm putting it into this film right from the get-go. As soon as it starts, the opening, the storybook sequence, right through to the end. I'm just there's so much magic in it.
Well, just the town itself is so magical.
Yeah.
And you got that magical red truck.
You do. Yes, you do.
Yeah, that's cool. And you got the snow globe, and it's kind of like it's inside a snow globe, so it's a lot of fun. You got to work with Barbara Niven. She's the best.
Oh, isn't she? I just did a couple of scenes with her yesterday. Oh, poor thing. It was pouring rain yesterday, unfortunately.
Oh no.
And she still looks like this amazing Hollywood star. And I don't know how she manages. She looked absolutely perfect. We put some screens up so she wouldn't get wet, but it's still, blowing rain and cold and damp. Somehow she magically looks like this glamorous, amazing woman walking through some trees. I don't know how she does it. She's magic. I don't know. Something about her. She's magic. She looked
great.
Beautiful.
Yeah, no, I agree. She's
so good.
She's a wonderful interview. And then working with Holly Robinson Peete, that must be fun.
That's fun. I've got a whole day with her on Monday. Lots of scenes with her. Yeah, she's a lot of fun. She's got some really fun stuff to do on Monday, actually. She has a big day ahead of her. It's going to be really fun.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
That's exciting. And it must be really satisfying especially after you do all this work, but then finally see, because you're seeing it in all these pieces. It's not like you film it chronologically, but so when you finally see it all kind of come together, that must feel really good.
Oh, it's that. Remember talking about that wonderful exhale feeling?
Yeah.
That's the best exhale feeling in the world when you see it after you walk away from the edit suite. Yes. Very exciting.
Like we nailed it. I love it.
Yeah, I hope so. It's looking so beautiful and so magical. I hope everybody just gets that Christmas spirit and that lovely fuzzy feeling when they watch it.
That's great. That's great. All right. Well, we had a lot of fun having you here, but we like to end our interviews with some fun, silly questions. So,
okay.
All right. What is your favorite holiday drink?
You know what? You'll probably know the name of it. I can't remember the name of it. What it is? It's like is it called a French 75 or something like that? It's got the lemon, and is it lemon and gin or something? And you sugar the rim. And it's a Christmas version of it, and I've forgotten. It's like a French 75, but it's got another name. So it's ginger, and you do like a ginger syrup, and you do fresh squeezed lemon, but there's a sweetness to it. I don't know if my husband makes them for me. And it's
Oh,
something that, you start off December 1st to December 31st. They're so beautiful. And with the sugar rim, it looks, all crystally and frosty, and
there you go.
one or two of those in the movie, and I'm having a wonderful Saturday night.
Very good. Okay, great. Okay, what is your favorite holiday cookie or treat?
Chocolate, chocolates, more chocolates. It's the one month where I always have chocolates out in a little dish on the table. I always pull out every night. The good ones. My mom
do you have one that you're kind of hoping for, and then one you're like, oh, shoot,
I like
got that one.
dark chocolate strawberry creams, dark chocolate vanilla creams. Those with the creamy centers and the dark chocolate. Oh, and salted caramels. Oh, chocolate.
Yeah, I love salted caramels.
Me too. Okay, so all of that, not all of that.
That's funny. I don't know. The fruit ones, I'm not a huge fan of certain fruit combinations. It has to, I don't know. Well, it like orange and chocolate can be good. I like those chocolate oranges.
Those are good.
Those are good. But sometimes it's a little bitter. I don't know, to me, and I don't really like that. But anyway, it's fun. Okay, what's your favorite Christmas song or carol?
Christmas song. Okay, my favorite traditional carol, is it called The Little Drummer Boy? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's a really beautiful one. And there's a contemporary new one, actually, I like. Did you ever watch Jesus Christ Superstar?
I know it a little bit. Yeah.
It was a rock opera that came out in the 70s, and Ted Neely played Jesus, and he tours the world still doing this production. I can't believe it's still going all these years later. It's amazing. He did a Christmas carol that came out last year or the year before called, do you know the song Oh Holy Night?
Mm-hmm.
He did a version of that. That version by Ted Neely is my absolute favorite forever. It's quite heavy, but it's incredibly powerful. And I just have grown up with his voice because he played the role of Jesus in that movie. And I don't know any different for that. I've just heard it since I was a little girl.
Sure.
So his voice just resonates for me. And that's my favorite current Christmas carol.
That's great. I'll have to listen to that. That sounds really good. Okay, what is your favorite classic Christmas movie to watch?
Black and white version of A Christmas Carol, the old one.
With Alistair Sim?
Yes, that one.
Yeah, that one's my favorite too.
Is it?
Yeah.
Isn't it good?
I love it. Yeah, it's really, really good. I
love that one. And then contemporary would definitely be Love Actually.
Okay, yeah.
You like that one?
Fun.
Yeah, I like that.
I do. I really do. Okay. What is your favorite holiday tradition?
That's a hard one. I have a lot of them. I do lots of this. I'm crazy with traditions. I'm irrational with them. And now that I have a child, I'm really irrational with them.
Christmas is so much more fun with kids.
It is. And with instilling these traditions, and we just do, for instance, every Christmas Eve, my father and his wife come over. We have a lovely dinner. My dad reads us A Child's Christmas in Wales before we go to bed. Have you ever read that
nice.
one? It's beautiful. And then we usually do a lovely supper, and then we wake up Christmas morning and have that together before they go back to their home. I usually do a present for my husband, and I'll write him a Christmas poem, and I'll hide it in the forest. I'll roll it up like a scroll and put a ribbon around it, and I'll hide it somewhere. And he's a scavenger hunt in the forest to find a present. And I usually hang it in a tree or under a rock or something like that, where he has to go looking for it in the woods.
That's cute.
Yeah, little things like that. We light candles and we go into the snow. We do that on New Year's too. We go into the snow and we do a fire in the snow, and we light candles and we have a little snack of oranges and chocolate by the fire in the woods, and just nice, pure, wintry things to do every year that my child can count on and our family can count on.
That's great. That sounds wonderful. All right. What do you prefer, Scrooge or the Grinch?
Oh, Scrooge.
Yeah.
What do you prefer?
Well, I love both, and I do love animation.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I'm a huge Christmas Carol junkie, and so I got to go with Scrooge.
Sisterhood, I hear you.
Yeah, but they're very similar. I mean, they're both. So I enjoy both. Okay, clear lights or colored?
Okay, so it's been clear forever. Always just the beautiful ethereal white lights and white branches. I just love that aesthetic. But now that I've got this little boy, I've got a strand of colored lights I wrap around some branches in his room at Christmas, and I'm kind of digging that lately. And I love the nostalgic look of that, like from the 50s and 60s. You see those old ones. I'm kind of digging that lately too. I might do that this year outside. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that colored lights are fun for the outside for sure. But then I usually have just white on my tree.
Ditto. We must have a very similar taste.
But then I got upstairs for my office. Since I work from home, I got a little white tree, which I was really excited about with colored lights. I always wanted a white tree, but I never had quite the guts to do the full white tree.
Oh, I'd love to see a photo. That sounds lovely.
Yeah. So that was really fun. And
good.
So I'm excited. I think that lights are going to be really big this year. I mean, they're always big, but I think that because it's something you can do socially distanced. You can put up lights and share and go look at other people's lights and all of that stuff. Right. So I think that's going to be a big thing this year.
I think you're right. I didn't even think about that. I haven't thought that far ahead, but people can drive to neighborhoods safely and drive through and look at their display. You're right. I bet it is going to be bigger this year. We need this stuff, don't we? We really do.
I certainly do. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Snowball fight or build a snowman? Which would you prefer?
Oh, snowman. I hate fighting of any kind. I don't care. And I can't throw. So building snowman.
There we go. Okay, good. Okay. Would you consider yourself a good gift wrapper?
Absolutely. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Big
You're just an artist.
I'm serious about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a lovely thing I like to do. One of the traditions, do you know salt dough? Have you ever tried salt dough? So I do salt dough Christmas tags. So I'll do the salt dough and then I'll get a cookie cutter. I do like a star or a heart. And then I will bake the salt dough and with a little hole in the top. And then I'll do a little satin ribbon through that for the tag to tie. And then I usually hand paint it. And now this year I probably won't, because usually I do the year. 2020 or something. This year, I don't think I'll remind anybody of the 2020. So I might just do initials or names, or maybe a beautiful word, perhaps.
Like hope
or hope.
Yeah.
Hope. Yeah. I think that's what I might do. So it's a gift tag, but it can be like an ornament as well.
That's I love that. I've never heard of that. That's wonderful.
You should try it. It's really a fun thing to do on an afternoon. I like it.
Great. Okay. So we have the last question is, do you have an ugly Christmas sweater and what does it look like?
Okay, I don't think any of my sweaters are ugly, but people may tend to differ with me on that. I happen to collect the old, those sort of Norwegian, those Scandinavian sweaters. I love those. So people may say they're ugly. I wear them year round, with the snowflakes and all that stuff. So that's all a matter of taste. I think they're beautiful. I don't know if anybody else does. So maybe I have about 7 ugly sweaters.
You're like, excuse me.
I like this.
Yeah, that's right.
Wear it
That's
proudly.
great. Yes. Well, and at least your sweaters are authentic as opposed to like purposely buying something ugly.
Yeah,
like some people
want to
do.
Support that. I would rather repurpose things, and I don't want to. We've got enough going on in the world.
Right. That's great. Well, thank you so much for talking. This was so much fun to get to talk with you and get to know you. And we're excited to have you in the Hallmark family.
I'm so excited to be here. I'm so touched that you talked to me. That's so sweet today. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to have more female directors in the Hallmark world and have you doing both of these movies this Christmas. That's great. We're really excited to see both. And so thank you so much for coming. And I don't know if you have anything that you want to share as far as any kind of, I don't think you're on social media, but do you have anything?
Oh yeah, no, I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram as Eurofairy.
Oh, okay, great.
It's an odd name, I know. And it's an odd spelling, but you'll find me somehow through Nikki or Ben or Rukia, or I'm around. I'm awesome. In the Hallmark thing. It's such an odd name, you can't miss it. I just feel so blessed to be part of all this with all the good energy, and it's lovely to talk to you.
That's awesome. So we'll have that in the description section. Everybody can follow you on Instagram. And if you're listening, let us know what you think of all the things we've talked about in the comment section, or you can let us know on Twitter. And we'd love to hear your thoughts. And that would be great. And we'll look forward to the movies. And thanks again for coming and talking with us.
Thank you. Happy Halloween. Merry Christmas.
Happy Halloween. Merry Christmas. Bye.
Bye.